my father's idea, so I can't take full responsibility, and I don't want to. But because having a winery is a tremendous undertaking. I mean, having a restaurant, not too unlike having a restaurant, which is a tremendous undertaking. A winery is probably the most risky business venture you could possibly get into. So, that said, my father not really being passionate about wine or knowing a lot about, hello,
hello.
How are you, darling? You haven't changed at all, I just recognize you.
Yeah.
Glorious garnishes, yeah.
We know each other from 30
Right,
years.
I used to have a TV show and we used to work together. I had the first regional food and wine TV show in the Pacific Northwest. That was a long time ago, Halsey. But anyway, yeah, my father courted, so he taught at 78 years old, he started a winery from scratch. And I said, no, Dad, please. I've been in the business for 25 years, and I love my dad, and I just thought this is going to be really bad for him because he likes his money. And I thought, I like my inheritance. And he thought, oh dear. Anyway, we're in it. It's been 5.5 years, and I have been in the business for 24 years, and I do love wine, I love food, I love the people in the industry, and the people who are food and wine people. So it's been a great thrill for me to be able to create, design BC wines. What I think of as a great BC wine is a wine that really features the fruit of British Columbia. That is, I don't want to mask it with smoke and mirrors. I don't want to add this or that. I don't want to hit it hard with a lot of oak or try to dry the alcohol out. I don't want to try to produce a wine that you would find in the Napa Valley, because it would not be silly. But it's really in vogue now to do just that. There are wineries throughout BC that are trying to produce a big, oaky, jammy fruit wine, and it's selling and it's in vogue. But to me, that just ruins the type of fruit that we produce in BC is very fresh, bright, and clean, and it's not glowing, and it's not flabby. That is, it has nice acidity because it's a much cooler climate here than in Australia, of course, or in the Napa Valley. So that said, I don't oak my whites at all, and I believe you've had the Pinot Gris, which I think tastes of pears and apples, and that's what I'm having right now. And I've been dying for this. I left the house at 2, so I finally got here.
And so where is Riversbend?
Oh, I'm sorry. Riversbend's on the bank of the Serpentine River. I'm a food writer, so I'll make this sound really wonderful. It's, in the pastoral, between White Rock, South Surrey, and Cloverdale. And we have 30 acres of glass farmland out there. And my dad started planting in 1992. He loves to farm. He loves to plant grapes, and he loves doing that aspect of it. And really, winemaking is farming. It starts with the grape. That's initially what it is. If you don't, just like cooking, if you don't have the best ingredients, the end result is going to suffer. So the best grapes, number one, which is difficult, especially with the seasons we've been having over the last many years. We've had one good year in 7, I think that's 2009, and this year is not good at all. For people who are farming, you can appreciate it's been really lousy. And even when we do get some heat, the nights are usually cold this summer, which doesn't help at all. So a lot of wineries in the Fraser Valley, a lot of wine, I'm not supposed to say this stuff because the winery owners will not tell you this. Because I look at everyone's sites and they say, oh, another marvelous year in the vineyard, and they're like, yeah, right. a lot of vines aren't going to come to fruition this year on Vancouver Island, especially North Cowichan, where I live, where most of the wineries started. And I moved there 9 years ago. My dad wanted to start a winery 5.5 years ago. I was going to move back. I just bought a house and moved there. I'm not sure I wasn't going to do that. And I'm glad. So I do visit. I have a studio there, and I do go back and forth a lot. What was I saying?
Where is the winery?
Terrible year. But that said, there'll be less of it, and it's more of a challenge for the vintner. So you'll see less wines, and I think you'll see the prices not go up, though. You'll see the prices go down. Yeah, because there's a glut of wine on the market. Because of the economy from the beginning of last year, the majors, the guys who produce 80%, they're 20% of the wineries, but they produce 80% of the wines in BC. The big guys, they have Jackson Triggs, Keller Estates, Sumac, all the big houses, even Mission Hill. They have so much wine, and every quarter they're like big business. They are big business, and so every quarter they want to produce more. They want bigger profits. So they don't think, well, geez, the economy doesn't look very good. No, we just got to keep pushing it. And so, does anyone here work for those companies, by the way?
If they do, they'll let you know.
I just see some people nodding, like, oh no, it's not great.
Well, I'm not saying anything that they don't know. But so what's happened is that they kept producing a lot of wine, and then they realized, oh my God, this isn't going to turn around quickly. We better stop producing. And so they're not buying from a lot of the suppliers from grapes that they used to. They're just solely using their own vines, which is very unprecedented. So they have too much wine, and as wine gets older, it doesn't get better. Very few wines actually get older. I mean, yes, reds after a few years do tend to get better, or they get different. But generally speaking, wines that have been away for 10, 20 years, that's 10% of the wines made in the world. And certainly not during lean years and not Pacific Northwest wine. So most of them, I mean, there are some beautiful ones for 10 years, but most of them don't. So while they're trying to sell this wine, I'm telling you too much, right?
But once you're seated, you can tell everyone around you.
Okay. I do. That's why I had a TV show and a radio show, because I can't shut up.
That's what we're supposed to do.
With that said, we can talk later. If you have any questions about food and wine, because I cook as well, and I've been publishing a couple of books, and so I love to talk to you about anything that helps about religion or politics. And that said, Julie Todd would say, bon appetit.